Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching CuestaDos. We have a fun show today. We talk about critical race theory in Virginia. If you don't know what it is, you'll get a little education, a little something off of sports. Then we talk about UFC 260 and the fight night that just occurred. We talk about a free agency update in the NFL. We talk NCAA tournament, and David is wrong as always because we debate. Then we talk about Stanford Wrestling and the travesty that Stanford University is doing to that program. And lastly, we talk about the injury bug biting Lakers and the NBA in total. So, without any further ado,
I got a new hat.
enjoy the show. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome to CuestaDos. I'm Alex. He's David. Hi, Dave.
Hi. Sometimes your video latency or something, there's some kind of connection. You go very quickly, very soon. It's very fun to watch.
I mean, I go quickly because it distorts and it pauses me for a little. And when I do the
Yeah.
playback and edit, it's not a good look. And I don't know if it's my internet because I'm sitting, it's off to the side here. I have a network extender. So if that's the problem, I hate my network. But I digress. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. If you were to tell by the hat, it would just look like I'm doing neutral, but I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. I got a new shirt in from one of my best friends, Rajan, otherwise known as LA Meek. He does music, does good music. You should go look him
Yep.
up and listen to him. He will sell you shirts, which are good. I like these shirts.
Yep, they have a good look. I definitely have to get in touch with Raji and get myself a shirt. And yeah, definitely go give LA Meek a listen. Instagram is a big spot where you can find him, and he's putting out music, working his tail off. He does shows, so he's a person you definitely want to go get hooked up with and
Mm-hmm.
see. But yeah, those shirts are dope. You have it in black too,
Yes, I
and
do.
that's awesome. Again, I need to go get it. What other colors does he have? He has white, black. Do you know any of the other color
I do not know.
choices?
I just got in white and black. I know he has sweatshirts too, I believe.
So why aren't you useful?
Uh, Never am really.
So anyway, I'm doing okay myself. I don't have any cool shirt. This shirt actually on the back is a logo of my buddy Sam, which is funny. You're wearing one of his buddy. My buddy Sam had a barber shop for a while that I used to go to. I haven't gone to a barber in a while, if you can tell. But he had a barber shop, and it's funny that you're wearing a shirt from your friend who's a
Mhm.
rapper. Mine's a barber, not anymore. Now I think he's just kind of a world traveler.
Yeah.
But so pretty little coincidence there. Besides that, everything's going well on my end. We have a jam-packed show as we always do. We'll see if we can keep it under an hour, but I sincerely doubt that we ever keep anything under an hour.
It's your
So
fault. It's your
it's
fault.
not, possibly it is because I do go into my little fits of rage.
Yeah, it's your
So
fault.
listen, I'll take it. I will take the blame. Just like our whole entire growing up, I will take it for you to make you look better.
Yeah. Yeah,
So anyway, we're going to jump right in. We're going to get started. We are going to do something outside of the sports realm, and we're going to touch on something that we just think is, I think, dangerous and a little wacky. I think is a good way to describe it. So, for those of you that don't know, there's a theory called critical race theory going around, and I'm not going to get into the ins and outs in it, but essentially, you can look up critical race theory. You can read the book White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. Gives you a good idea about what it is essentially. Racism is a big part of everything in life. It is systemic, it is taught, and it's not something that is only good versus bad. That is the most dumbing down version of critical race theory that I can think of, Dave. And this story that we're going to talk about predicates on what happened in Virginia,
yeah.
in Loudoun County, Virginia. There was a parent, Ian Pryor. He wrote an op-ed in the Federalist about critical race theory and how he's against it coming into his schools and kids being taught about this topic. And essentially, a private Facebook group got hold of this. They're the anti-racist parents of Loudoun County, pro-critical race theory, and it got released that they basically put him on a list to be publicly shamed. They called for hackers to come in, do volunteering, and got a list of people like him that are against it. And I don't know, David, something. about me and my history background, I think that when I start seeing basically lists of people because they don't agree with what you're saying, that puts up a really big red flag in my head, Dave.
Yeah, no, lists never really a good thing. Grocery list, that's fine. I mean, list of a workouts that you got to do for the week, that's fine. But lists of people that disagree with me, so publicly shame them is not good. And the main thing about this is not just people that disagree with me, it's people that don't want their kids specifically taught something in the school that you're teaching in. I understand it. I understand if you don't like someone and you're very barely involved with them, that's fine. I really don't care. I still don't think you should make a list of people. But when it comes down to a parent saying, I don't want my kid taught this, you have to respect the parent's values there. Because when a parent has the control over the child, it's that simple. It's their child, their control over their child. They're going to raise them how they want to, unless you're actively beating them and actually harming them in that way. They're going to have control over their child. That's what we believe in America.
Yep.
So it's alarm bells just go off when you see a list of people at any time, especially over something like this.
Yeah. And the crux of this is the people that are doing the list, the people that want to get these people that are anti-critical race theory, call themselves the anti-racist. And that's fine. If you believe that critical race theory leads to less racism, that's okay. I don't think that it's something that should be taught in curriculum unless it is agreed upon. And when people rise up at school boards or write these type of op-eds, it should be something that should be listened to, especially if it's a taxpayer thing.
Yeah.
That the taxpayers have a right to have a say, and just like if you're in your sex ed and it's against your belief that your kid learns about certain topics, you should be allowed, and I think you still are allowed, to pull your kids out. So if this is something that you're completely against, that you don't agree with the philosophy in public schooling, you should 100% be able to take them out of it. It's a taxpayer thing. It's what we pay for. So if we don't agree with that curriculum, then we should be completely at liberty to take them out. So this is, to me, it's just scary. It is a scary thing to see going on, where people are getting listed and requesting that now we basically dox these people. And part of the whole entire details were that they wanted to change any links to, they have two different groups, PACT, which is Parents Against Critical Race Theory, and Stop LCPS-CRT. And they want any links to hack into there and create, when you click on it, going to pro-critical race theory or anti-racist pages. So hacking into their ability to spread their own information, to put up flyers about these people in their own neighborhoods, dangerous stuff that can lead to a lot of harassment and potential physical harm.
Yeah.
To me, that's just not the way you go about getting anything accomplished. Positive.
But if you're fully convinced that your ideas are better, you wouldn't need to try to do that to someone.
Yep.
It's that simple. So if you want to mutter about someone under your breath, you want to talk to your friends, and even if you want to confront them on social media, most people, I really don't care. But when you're trying to do a coordinated attack against people, that's a problem. That's a legitimate problem. But if you're just being like, if you're just saying things, most people don't care.
And as you said, with critical race theory, if you believe that critical race theory is the best way to go, then educate the people before you start educating their kids. Try and talk to people about what it is and what you believe in. And if it really is something that we should all get behind, then let everyone know what it is, what it's about in detail, and how it's going to make a difference. So I just from looking at it from the optics, I don't like this at all. I don't like the list. I think it's dangerous. And I think rallying people against a group of people because they don't believe in the same thing you do is scary as hell. So if there's anything that develops further from this, we'll definitely touch on it. But right now, it's just at that scary point of names on lists because they're bad.
Don't make lists, people. Don't make a grocery list. Make something like that. don't make a list of people on it unless like a registration for baseball or something like that. How about that? That's the only time where you can make a list of people on it.
Make
Just
a list
don't
of your favorite pastries and pastry chefs.
Yes, that's fine. You want to go visit Cake Boss, you want to make a list of where his stuff is. I don't know. But not a list of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna go from non-consenting assault, consenting assault. Awful transition.
It worked. It worked.
But
it was meh.
It was meh. It was meh. So we talked about UFC 260 coming up with Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou, and we mentioned the other title fight, Volkanovski versus Ortega. Volkanovski versus Ortega is off because Volkanovski tested positive for COVID. Very unfortunate for both his health and the co-main event in that pay-per-view. It's still going to be a very good pay-per-view. I hope he's fine. I hope he gets out of this just fine. I hope he gets back into fighting shape for him. I mean, just for him. Yeah. But other than that, UFC news, the fight night happened with Kevin Holland, Derek Brunson. I just want to touch on one of my top fighters right now, Adrian Yanez. He's up and comer. I liked him since I saw him on Contender Series. And he's a lot of fun. His striking is very crisp, and you could see it. You just watch his fight so far in the UFC. You can see how good he is. But Kevin Holland fought the weirdest fight I've ever seen in my life against Derek Brunson. I don't know if you watched it.
I didn't get a chance to watch. I watched highlights and clips, and it just didn't look like Kevin Holland just from highlights.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. When they were on the feet, his striking was still crisp. Like he was still tagging Brunson, but Brunson was able to take him down as many times as he wanted to. And Kevin kind of wanted to stay down. Like he put in a body lock from the ground and then didn't do anything. He was just on his back, just allowing himself to not get hit too much and too hard.
Yeah.
But other than that, he really didn't try to get up too much. It was mainly like probably near the end of the rounds most of the time where he even tried to get up. Other than that, he was more comfortable there. I mean, more comfortable in the sense that he's not even fighting. He's just chilling. But it was really, really weird. And I hope he comes back from this. But other than that, I want to give Brunson some shine because I don't want to just talk about how Holland lost. Brunson fought very well, came with a game plan, and honestly, a very similar game plan to what he had against Edmund Shabazian, the fight before this. He fought well enough on his feet. You can always be afraid of Brunson's power, but you get him down, force him down. Your wrestling's very good. Get some ground and pound in and try to find a way to win this fight. Brunson did that again against Holland, and he did very well with it. He's going to probably get a top 5 fight before a title fight, but if he keeps moving on like this, he's no longer a gatekeeper. We'll see what happens, but I like the way he's going right now.
So was there a chance that Holland maybe got hurt early? Because you said he was striking pretty well when they were in the stand-up. Is there a chance that he maybe hurt himself a little bit and he was just going into that default position to try and survive the fight and win off control?
No, I don't think so. Because, I mean, he couldn't even win off control. He was on his back. That's the whole thing. So, no, I don't think he was injured. He didn't say anything about an injury. In fact, he said he felt disappointed about it, letting people down, which I understand. It was just really weird. That's the whole thing. It was really weird because against like the Jacare Souza fight, he on the ground, he was threatening and everything, and he was able to get up, and then he knocked him out off of his back. Like that was really good to see. He looked good on the ground against one of the best people on the ground. But Derek Brunson, I mean, he's a little meatier than Souza, but still, you would think you'd be able to see more from Holland there instead of just chilling.
Yeah, all the credit to Brunson defeating Holland, defeating one of the up-and-comers and stopping a guy that was really on fire.
Yeah.
And kind of untouchable up to this point. And, you know, I think all of us, including me and you and anybody talking UFC, was really looking forward and ahead to Holland and Adesanya eventually. And now this definitely puts a damper on that because Holland needs to go back to the drawing board. And it's a really big win for Brunson. Like you said, he's been sort of a gatekeeper for a little bit.
Yep.
This opens a door for him, and if he can win another fight, now he's a legitimate contender.
Yeah, I mean, especially since the only people that haven't fought Adesanya for the title is Darren Till, Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier, and Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson's fought him, but not for the title.
Yeah.
So, out of those top, I mean, a couple of them have fights coming up, but It might be Darren Till next, might be Vittori next. They don't want to fight Whitaker, apparently. They said the rematch just doesn't feel worth it. They beat him up the first time in the first title fight.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But Derek Brunson could really set himself up for at least a title shot here, which I'd be happy for him because he's been in the UFC for a long time. He's fought against great fighters, and he's always been up for it. He's always been down for a fight. So I think I would like to see him do that.
And if you're Derek Brunson and you just watch the Israel Adesanya fight where he was physically dominated, that has to make you feel good as a guy that likes to get to the ground and physically dominate people on the ground. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see that. It's arguably the best division in UFC right there because there is so much moving parts and there's so many guys up top that as much as they don't threaten Adesanya, just the fights in between each other are just so much fun there.
Yeah.
So it's a great weight class. UFC continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. And I'm sure that in 260, we'll see another pretty good fight added to that main card anyway. Yeah. So
I mean, it's already a great card.
It's a great card.
I mean, even with the fight taken out, it's a great card.
Yeah. So speaking of greatness, NFL free agency has been one of the better free agencies that I've seen because there has just been moves upon moves upon moves, Dave. And it's been one thing after another with big deals and surprising deals and teams that are on the move. So we'll kind of do what we did last week and just kind of yip yap about them a little bit. So 49ers make Trent Williams the highest paid offensive lineman in history. Mm-hmm. And who was it that noted David Bakari noticed that he was the highest paid offensive lineman more, and then $10,000 more, and he just tweeted and goes, "You petty AF," and he was all joking. He was for him, but that's a surprising move for Trent Williams, who has injuries in his career and is 33 years old. It was a 6-year, $138 million deal. It's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how well that pays off. Let's see. I'm just scanning. Let me tell you guys, there was a lot going on. So to be completely prepared for this part kind of is, a lot. You see the Colts re-signing Marlon Mack, a 1-year, $2 million kind of prove it deal. Mm-hmm. That's good depth there behind Taylor. That's, Kenny Golladay officially signed with the Giants.
Yep, and the Giants,
Adoree Jackson. The Giants are making moves. That secondary on New York is threatening, Dave. Mm-hmm. What do you think about what not our Jets, but the Giants, the other New York team, has done right now?
Well, actually, it's pretty funny. I think I saw it. I think it might have been about Jackson. I think it was about Adoree Jackson. The one who was recruiting him the most was John Ross, because John Ross is on the Giants. John Ross said, "Come to New York," and Jackson was like, "Which one?" And then he saw him sign with the Giants. Like, okay. And then John Ross apparently forgot there was another New York team. Hilarious. But anyway, the Giants made a lot of moves. They made a lot of big moves. They're paying a lot of money for these guys. Yeah. But overall, I think they're really saying, okay, Daniel Jones, let's see what you have. We got your number one wide receiver as long as he's out there. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Saquon can stay healthy. The O-line is okay, but we got to see what the offense is got to do. That defense is looking better. Obviously, Adoree Jackson's a big pickup. Yeah, and they kept Leonard Williams, and he looked good for them. Mm-hmm. So the Giants could be all right next year. We just have to see what happens.
So you talked about Saquon, and if Saquon's healthy, Wayne Gallman looked really good for them last year. So you have a combination of those two guys where Gallman was kind of iffy. He's always been a tough guy, but last year was kind of a breakout year for him in terms of being able to carry the horse and really gave Daniel Jones opportunities with some good games that he had catching and running. Mm-hmm. So if Saquon's healthy too, that 1-2 punch is fun. Now, another person in the NFCs that made a splash, Curtis Samuel going to Washington. Yeah. 3-year, $34.5 million deal.
Terry and Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, and they put up a picture about how when they were freshmen at Ohio State, they talked about joining and playing together. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if people remember how good they were at Ohio State, but they were pretty damn good. So it's something to definitely keep an eye on. You didn't like my little accent there?
No, not at all.
Okay, so we have to mention an aside. ESPN Alert said that the Washington football team is considering making the name Washington football team permanent out of sympathies for past sentiments of their fans. Fold as a franchise. Fold. Just
I-
if you can't think of a nickname, fold. Just
It's
call
ridiculous.
yourself like the Washington Walking Sticks. Like
it's utterly ridiculous.
Be a name.
They've had plenty of good ones to choose from. I understand some people are like, I don't mind it. When it comes to a professional football league, just being called the football team is utterly disgraceful. I'm sorry. But anyway, back to the free agency. Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel together is absolutely disgusting as a wide receiving core. Whether it's Fitzpatrick or Heineke quarterbacking, because Heineke looked good in the playoffs, but
Heineke did look good.
But we'll see. We'll see if he can do it for a regular season. Whoever is quarterbacking there has a lot of help in their receiving core.
100%. And this, it does a lot of things because they have a good running game. They have a good defense there. And Scary Terry was already a number one wide receiver. And now you open him up by giving him Samuel on the other side. Who do you double team? There is nobody to double team. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good deal for them. Another good deal is Kenyon Drake going to the Raiders on what I thought was a pretty good deal. 2 years at $11 million, worth up to 14.5 for a guy in Kenyon Drake who has proven himself to be a pretty damn versatile guy, Dave.
He's explosive, but it's really weird. Kenyon Drake can do a lot, but he never seems to do as much as he could. I don't understand it.
Yeah. He was considered to be like the guy this past year over in Arizona. And he was and when people were talking, Drake, I was like, is this the same Kenyon Drake that ran in Miami? That was just a guy, like a good running back, but not a great running back.
He always shows the explosion, but he's just never a consistent running back. That's the problem.
So speaking of Miami, Will Fuller makes a big deal over there. He signs with the Dolphins. Dave, the Dolphins do this. They do this. They make these good moves. They look like they have good teams, and then they come out and they're good, but they're underwhelming. Do you think that the Dolphins are going to be able to turn the corner here? They have Tua back there in another year, who I know you don't think Tua is great, but it's another year. They now give him a legitimate number one as a weapon. I think Fuller has proven to be a number one wide receiver.
Yeah, he's not number one.
I like him a lot.
He's not number one.
So, but what do you think? Do you think the Dolphins did something good there to really help him out?
They did. No, that's still very good because they got Devontae Parker over there. They have that's good help. Will Fuller's good help. Don't get me wrong. He's not number one in my eyes, but he's good help. Overall, I think the Dolphins are really setting themselves up to challenge the Bills for the AFC East throne. Because right now it's all Bills. If you're saying otherwise, then you're wrong.
And
right now,
who isn't in the AFC East kind of setting themselves up? Because all AFC East teams are making a lot of moves.
Patriots aren't going to get there. I'm going to tell you that right now. Patriots are not going to get there unless that defense is absolute clamps.
Yeah.
They're not going to get there. But unless Belichick outcoaches everyone, which I don't see happening. Sean McDermott's been very good. Flores is good. Hopefully Salah works out for it. I think he will, but we can never spit up in the air. But right now it's Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets in that order until something changes.
I couldn't agree, but
yeah.
Go ahead. You go.
But the Dolphins are trying to challenge. That defense is very good. Yet again, just like I said with the Giants, they're telling Tua, listen, it was rookie year. Things happen rookie year, even though they did pull him at important parts, which is interesting. But you can always improve greatly from your rookie year. So they giving him more help. Going to go out there and say, here's the keys. Here's the keys. Go get us into the playoffs this year. Probably should have been last year. You're 10-6, but go get us in this year.
Definitely. And you talked about the Jets and moves that they made. They made a few good splashes, but they had LaMarcus Joyner, who did sign a big deal over with the Raiders. They got him on a 1-year, $4.5 million deal, and he now makes that secondary with Marcus May a little more dynamic. They need cornerbacks. Yeah. But you're looking at Marcus May and LaMarcus Joyner back there, and that's a pretty damn scary group now that Marcus May is playing like Jamal Adams, essentially. So how do you feel about that move, along with Lawson and who was the other tackle that they just signed? Rankins from
Sheldon Rankins from the Saints.
Sheldon Rankins. So they're making moves on defense. How do you feel about what the Jets have done right now?
I feel good about it. I mean, the only things that they really haven't set in stone is cornerback and offensive guards. Cornerback Steven Nelson was just released from Pittsburgh, so I'm really hoping that we can get on top of him. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I mean, it's been good moves. Corey Davis can be a legit number one.
Yes, he can.
Very physical, very good wide receiver. That really shores up our receiving core. Lawson, Sheldon Rankins, Gerard Davis, very, very quick middle linebacker, able to go from coast to coast on that field. Then LaMarcus Joyner is a very good spell, either for Marcus May or Ashton Davis. Honestly, it's going to be those three back there in a general sense.
Yep.
But overall, it just cornerback needs to be adjusted. Offensive guard needs to be adjusted. Other than that, I think, honestly, if we don't see any more moves from JD, it's because he's just working on draft. He's saying the rest of it's going to be draft. And I have no idea what's going to happen with Sam Darnold. I still think the best move is to move him, but we'll see what happens. If they like him enough, then whatever. I'm not going to argue with them. I can't argue with them.
Corey Davis did say he thinks that Sam Darnold's going to be his quarterback. And
you're always going to think the quarterback on the roster is going to be your quarterback.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Corey Davis doesn't have to say anything. So that's got to be a good sign for Sam Darnold if you're potential number one, as long as Denzel Mims doesn't have a breakout.
That's true, but you don't want to. You also don't want to embarrass Sam.
That's true. So
he's a consummate professional, Corey Davis. He's not going to do that.
And so is Sam Darnold. So
yes.
It's two guys that are very good. So we give Texans a lot of flack, but the Texans are actually making moves to try and put their coach in the best position. Besides hating Deshaun Watson, they signed Dante Moncrief to try and fill the hole. He's now with Brandon Cooks over there. Randall Cobb, Cootie, Coulter, Henson. They have a good core there, decent core. But they also have cornerback depth. Vernon Hargraves, who was a surprise starter. Desmond King, who's a good player behind Bradley Roby.
Yeah.
So they're doing some things on both sides of the football. And if they end up not, moving Watson some way, if they end up moving him or he ends up playing for them, they put him in a better position. Yeah, losing Will Fuller sucks, and Moncrief isn't Will Fuller, but you put him with Cooks and a few of those other guys, and it's a competent core there.
I mean, Moncrief hasn't been good, though. That's the problem. Moncrief's been very bad, honestly.
Overall, disappointing is a good way to put it.
Yes. Overall, with the whole Watson situation, I have no idea what's going to happen with that. We have to wait and see.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there. Even disregarding everything NFL wise, we just have to wait and see what's going on. Both Watson and Houston are just a complicated mess right now.
Yeah, for those
that's the best way to put it.
For those that have been absolutely under a rock, Deshaun Watson is under an sexual assault allegations, ranging from legitimate sexual assault to misconduct. He's up to 16 accusers that have officially filed lawsuits against him. So we're not going to take a stance here at CuestaDos, either here or there. Our stance is if he's a monster and he did even a quarter of these, put him in jail and let him serve his time. And if he's not, he should have his day of redemption. That's it.
Yeah,
that's going to be our stance. Let the court system work it out. Let them do what they do. And on the football side, though, it does seem like the Texans, who we have criticized as being a completely incompetent organization, which they are, don't get me wrong, are trying. So I'm going to leave it at that there. Interesting thing that I saw, Dave, the Rams picked up Deshaun Watson. And that, to me, could be, and it's a one-year deal, could be a really, really, really good sneaky move.
Wait, who did they pick up?
They picked up Deshaun Jackson.
There you go. I was like, wait.
Yeah, they picked up Watson, and Watson and Stafford are now going to have a QB battle for the QB number one. They picked up Deshaun Jackson. And Deshaun Jackson's a great pickup in their sense because it's a super high ceiling. No one has had more 60-yard touchdown catches, and this isn't like just a token stat. Like, he's had one more. I think he's had like almost 10 more than the next person. He's been insane as a deep threat throughout his whole career. And you have a guy now like with Stafford who's a cannon arm, already a good receiving core around him, and you could just put Deshaun out there, and it doesn't matter if guys know he's going to run a fade. You got to catch up to him. So I really like that move.
He has to be healthy, and that's what he hasn't been. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I really like that move. I think it's good. Interesting move here, Dave, and I think this is something the Jets may like to jump on, is that the Broncos decided to let Philip Lindsay go And they're going with running back Mike Boone. Philip Lindsay's a good running back. Not great, but good.
Him.
Did they I'm looking at the 22nd. And they have Melvin Gordon. And from what I'm looking, unless they just moved them down the depth chart, I thought they re-signed the Lindsay, their kicker. Or their punter. I thought that was
he signed the Houston Texans. He signed the Texans.
Oh, he signed with the Texans already? Okay. Well, that's unfortunate for my prediction with the Jets. But yeah, so overall, that has been, I probably missed some people, not going to lie. But that has been the flurry of moves. It has been fun to track and tough to track.
I'm just going to throw out there that you said the Texans are trying for Deshaun Watson. The Bears
not even trying. Necessarily Deshaun Watson for their new coach. Their new coach, because even if Deshaun Watson leaves, at least you give him a framework of something.
Yeah, exactly. But the Chicago Bears literally tried for Allen Robinson. They were willing to give away their franchise for Russell Wilson. Was it 3 first-round picks? Was there another pick?
Might have been like a second or so. 3 first rounders, a third rounder was in there,
and two starters on the defense. I believe
2 starters.
And Seattle turned that down. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm sorry. If I'm Seattle, I'm taking that.
If you're A-Rob, does this make you feel any better? Even though you want to be out of there, and one of the things is, you have been getting the balls efficiently as you could, and there's definitely merit to that. He hasn't played with an actually good quarterback his whole career, even down in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. He had decent quarterbacks, but not good quarterback play. Mm-hmm. And he wants a good quarterback. But man, they just tried to get you one of the top 5 in the game. Like they did what they could in that situation.
Yeah. I don't get
how that make you feel better if you're A-Rob?
I don't know. I can't step in his shoes. I don't know what's happened over there other than that, because maybe there's other things going on and that's why he wants out. But I mean, for me personally, watching that happen, 1, how in the hell is Seattle do you not take that? 2, Chicago tried, man. They tried to get you a huge guy.
Looking at this from Seattle's perspective, okay. You get the first round picks, right? You get 3 first round picks. You get all these picks, and you get 2 starters, which is fine, well and dandy. The defense does need to improve. You put Russell Wilson on that Chicago team, and if Allen Robinson stays with a competent running game and a defense that is really good, those first round picks are in the late 20s. Like, I'm sorry, you're not looking at good. If you're sitting there and you're giving Russell Wilson to a restart team, and he's going to get them you're going to get these picks late teens, early teens. That's worth it. If you're going to get 3 picks with the guy that can put a bad team on their back, and now you're giving them a competent team in your own conference, part of me sees why they didn't take it.
No, but you can ship those picks. You can find ways to trade those picks and packages and go up and get a quarterback. You could 100% do that. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. You are on a team which is dying. I'm sorry. Seattle's dying. They're not going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. Last year was probably their best bet.
Don't you dare disrespect DK. DK will put them on his back.
No, nothing's going to happen with that team anymore. Last year was their best bet. It didn't happen. Move on. The NFL is fickle. If you do not keep moving, you will go down to the bottom.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not doubting Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson, to me, I feel like has that Aaron Rodgers type of swag and Tom Brady type of swag, where when you start to doubt him, they do something about
Aaron it. Has one Super Bowl. Aaron has one Super Bowl.
Aaron has one Super Bowl. I agree.
Don't get me wrong. I love Aaron Rodgers.
That's not all on Aaron.
It's not. But how much can you do as one person? You can do a lot.
As a quarterback,
how much can you do?
A lot. As a QB, a lot. You can make up for a lot of deficiencies.
Only one Super Bowl. Listen, I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Listen, he's 100% lost the mantle of the greatest player of this time, greatest quarterback of this time. Aaron Rodgers is not the best quarterback of this time. That is. You want to say he's still top 3? I can give you that. His talent level puts him there.
No, he's the most talented. No doubt.
You can't even say that anymore. Not with the way Russell Wilson exists, with the way Patrick Mahomes exists, with the way Tom Brady still exists. I don't know if you can call Aaron Rodgers the most talented.
No, Tom Brady's not.
It's close.
Tom Brady's not more talented than most QBs. He's just smarter than them.
I mean, yeah, he has arm talent. You can't argue Tom Brady's arm talent.
He has arm talent, but he believe me, he just reads a defense better than any other.
But essentially, you can't
right.
say with Russell Wilson and stuff that he's more talented. All right, go ahead.
Oh, we're gonna move
on to the next topic. We
we're
can argue all night.
Exactly. We're gonna move on to the NCAA tournament, where we're gonna argue a little bit here because we argued before we started recording. You hate this one. I get why you hate it, but I also don't get why you hate it. Mainly because to me, there's only like 2 real Cinderella stories here in general, and they're going to be out soon. But overall, I don't mind this NCAA tournament. It's kind of on popsicle sticks and duct tape right now. But overall, I mean, it's been some fun times. We've seen the top teams really win, and we've seen top teams go down simply because they're not playing well. Like you just need to play better. It's that simple. And college basketball has always been sloppy. I'm sorry, I'm getting my arguments out of the way right now, but you can go ahead.
So you made the main argument that I am sour that Rutgers lost the game to Houston, and I will say this: Houston did not win that basketball game. Rutgers lost that basketball game. Steve Pikiell's been great for Rutgers. He brain farted and had to go prevent offense and defense, basically prevent offense for 5 minutes, and that will lose you every single time. Especially when it's only a 9-point lead. Anyway, so I understand your arguments, but and college sports are basically bad to begin with. People love college sports because they try so hard, but yeah, they have to try hard because they're not very good at their jobs. Like, I'm sorry. That's just it. Most of these guys, and I want to say now 95% of these guys here are going to be actuaries next year. They're not going to be even dreaming of playing a sport. Some of them will be in Europe. Some of them will float in the G League. But to me, you watch the tournament for some Cinderellas to go up against juggernauts. That's what's fun. 1 or 2 Cinderellas, 1 or 2 teams that are not deserving to go up against great teams. You watch it to see the future NBA stars, the superstars take over games. That's what, and to play against these Cinderellas and these units and these anomalies, like teams like Villanova, who is a bunch of seniors and juniors that doesn't have the bona fide superstar present, but you don't watch it for Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's fun.
Oral Roberts is cool, but you don't watch it for Oral Roberts. You don't watch it for Creighton to consistently do it. And Creighton, what they've been able to do over the controversy with McDermott, their coach, being able to come together is a cool story. But you're not watching it for a 6-seed USC versus a 7-seed Oregon. You're not watching Loyola Chicago is a cool story. No one cares about their basketball team. Everyone cares about Sister Jean. Nobody cares about what Loyola Chicago does on the floor. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Oregon State, the 12 seed. So it's like you're watching a bunch of things that we care about because it's there, I guess, but nobody cares. UCLA got in because they're a blue blood. Syracuse got in because they're a blue blood. And that's another bone I have to pick. Why are playing games with 11 seeds? What is the point of that? They should all be 16 seeds. I digress on that. Or they're 16 and 15 seeds. If you can't all do it, but I don't care what it is. They shouldn't be 11 seeds. But to me, you're already watching basically bad basketball to watch the few superstars take over. Now we're going to watch a bunch of seniors and juniors pass the ball really well and make a lot of layups and open threes. I'm sorry, that's not why you watch the NCAA tournament. You watch the NCAA tournament, see the best guys on the floor, dunk and put nuts in face. That's what you watch it for. And we're not going to get that right now.
You know what? I'm fine with it because those guys that are that good are going to the NBA anyway. I'd rather see a team that's been working the whole time win the NCAA tournament. I'm sorry. I'd rather see that because that's going to be their biggest moment in their lives, not that contract with Nike. That's the thing. So I'd like to see that happen. I mean, it doesn't happen every year. So why not have it happen right now?
You know, and maybe I shouldn't be sour because Florida State's in. They're playing Michigan, and they have a legitimate chance against Michigan because Florida State's very good. Michigan has been playing well, but they're iffy. And I like Florida State. They're one of my favorite teams. But overall, I just don't like this. I don't like seeing – maybe I'm just a jerk that likes my Blue Bloods a little more. Blue Bloods that deserve it. Not Syracuse and UCLA that deserve it. Pushed in. But I enjoy my Blue Bloods. I enjoy my great teams to go in and play. Like, because to me, Gonzaga, they're a bunch of they're They're breadsticks, as you'd like to say. Every single year, they're breadsticks. They never have a true superstar. They're just good with a bunch of good guys. They're like when we were in Jersey, Don Bosco Prep. No one at Don Bosco Prep on the football team is amazing. They're just all really good. So you put a bunch of really good together and you make great. I don't know. I'm soured on this tournament, and it pisses me off that
No fun league over here.
it is. To me, this isn't fun. It's not fun to watch. I'm watching guys that doink on the rim 96% of the time anyway, because they're taking threes because they all want to be friggin' Dame, and they're not Dame, and they're bad at their sport anyway. And then I don't know. I just want to see the superstars play. Nothing was better than watching Kemba Walker destroy everything. That was so much fun. Carmelo Anthony leading Q's, being the guy. Like when you see that superstar go, Kentucky with Julius Randle and Anthony Davis, that's fun. Watching no-name Nikolai Bulaboo playing with Flaglamlo. I don't even know these names that I'm saying, but they're just a bunch of nobodies.
You're just a hater. You're just an absolute hater. That's what you are.
It's not a hater. It's boring.
Absolute hater.
It is boring. And if Oral Roberts gets to the Elite Eight, everyone that they beat needs to be like cut from their job. All the players need to be stripped of their scholarships, and the coaches need to be fired, and so do GMs. Like, heads need to roll if Oral Roberts gets that far, because it's a cute story, but go away.
Absolute hater. You would be cheering for Goliath. You would be cheering for Goliath.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You gotta hedge your bets sometimes.
Wow.
Listen, David had no business winning.
Okay.
He didn't have any business winning.
Okay. So let's go on to the next story. We're going to be cheering for David.
Quickly. I will be cheering for David, but different scenarios. Anyway, quickly though, we have to make a comment on something absolutely ridiculous that shouldn't stand.
Yes.
NCAA, they suck as it is. The NCAA needs to not be a thing. And if this doesn't prove to people that they need to not be a thing, and that lack of pardon my French, they're full of shit on 95% of the things that they say. I forget the name of the player. I think she's an Oregon player. She took a video of the weight room that they have over there for the women's NCAA tournament. It was a rack of dumbbells, a trainer's table stacked with yoga mats, and the rest she panned around was like 9 practice courts. And then she clipped on another video, and which is a different location. The women are in San Antonio, the men are in Indiana, of the men's weight room, and it is like a world-class weight room that any of us would dream to go to. And she put them on blast, rightfully so. When I'm one of the people, I don't like all like the rage and the piling on. But man, that was as screwed up as anything as I've ever seen. And I don't care what the revenue share is at this point. And if any of that has a factor in terms of bringing in money, that's why. No.
No, that's not. That shouldn't be a factor in this.
They are Division I athletes. They are women and athletes at the pinnacle of their sport at that point, working their asses off, and they need to lift. They need to work out as much as any other athlete. For you to sit there and talk about all the fairness and all your rules and all your nonsense, how do we still even abide by NCAA rules anymore? Like, I don't understand it. Like, why do you give them any power?
I'm convinced the NCAA likes the controversy at this point. No, but
Stupid.
It's so obviously dumb that it makes me really like what the heck happened here? Like, how did that happen? Because it's just so ridiculously obvious. There's a part of me, it's like, there's no way that's true. Obviously, I'm not trying to say anything like that, but it's just so weird to me. And the NCAA, we've always said the NCAA gets what it deserves. I'm never really going to defend them.
And there was no even CYA. There was no cover your ass. There was no like statement
I don't know what happened.
It was in transit and they got delayed due to things, and it will be there. We just put the dumbbells and things up just for the momentary. It's in the interim. We're working on it. No. It was just, we're looking into it. And then poof, a world-class gym appears at the women's tournament out of nowhere. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's weird. It's dumb. I don't know how you do that as the NCAA. You make a lot of money. You have more than enough to do that. Because the thing is, the revenue argument doesn't really make sense here to me, at least. I don't know entirely enough about this, but doesn't make sense to me here because everything goes to the NCAA. I don't really think they actually separate everything out unless they do. I have no idea, but everything goes directly to the NCAA organization. So you should have the funds and the wherewithal to just give both of them their weight rooms and whatever they need.
And the revenue argument doesn't hold water either, especially for women's college basketball, because there are some women's programs that have their gyms bumping every single game. I came from Marist College, and the women's team continues to still be the attraction. They just won the MAC tournament again. Mm-hmm. They made it to the NCAA tournament. The men haven't done that in decades. And that is the show. The gym is stacked for every women's game. And I know UConn's like that.
Yeah.
Stanford, Notre Dame, Rutgers. There's a bunch of proud women's programs that have their teams bumping all the time. So they bring in the revenue that even if you told them you got to support yourself, these schools will pony up the money and get their women the weights that they need.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's a really weird thing.
It's a bad look.
Yeah.
On top of bad look. On top of bad look, on top of bad look. Can we please just go to the NAIA? Like,
can't get out of their own way.
Let's go to the NAIA. Let's give them a shot. They can't be any worse. Can't be. Anyway, so speaking of something that is worse.
Go ahead and cheer for David this time.
University of Stanford. Okay, this is a different situation because wrestling is different than basketball on 10,000%. Wrestling, you do for yourself. Basketball, someone does for you most of the time. Anyway. Stanford University should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. They announced before the season that they are cutting the men's wrestling program. I don't think there is a wrestling program, but they're cutting the men's program at the end of the season. Now, they were told it was because lack of performance and funds. They were not able to keep this program running. So what did Stanford go out and do? They get to the NCAA championship, have multiple All-Americans, and a Stanford wrestler from the 8th seed in the 165-pound division, Shane Griffin, wins a national championship. And icing on the cake, before all that happened with the championship, the wrestling team raised over $12 million in funds from alumni and like people that were trying to keep Stanford wrestling alive, and the administration still told them no. This is a ridiculous situation, Dave. I'm trying to say performance, All-Americans and a national champion says otherwise. And this program is over a century old. It's one of their oldest programs. And I just scratch my head. Why do we keep on cutting sports? If funds are the problem, why the hell are sports the first to go?
I have no idea. I don't know. These colleges are weird to me. They never seem to act logically or efficiently, or at least
for a bunch of smart people.
The way I see how they would act efficiently. Maybe they're acting efficiently in another way that they see it. But either way, if you have a national championship winner and you have
multiple All-Americans,
and you have 12 million raised, at least say, okay, well, at least give you another year. I mean, I don't get, at least give them a little bit, whatever. Like, they did all of this to keep the program. No reason to keep saying, it's done.
And what's worse is the 12 million would fund the program for like the foreseeable future. It's an unbelievable amount that they would need, but they were also taking some of these funds to start a women's wrestling program at Stanford to try and get a women's division. I don't know what divisions they have the women's programs, but I know women's wrestling is on the rise. So they were trying to branch off and make a women's wrestling program with this as well. And I don't know, for me, when it comes to all these schools, we've seen my beloved sport, track, has been cut from a ton of schools over the pandemic. And it seems like administrations are just pining to cut a bunch of programs. And people might go after me with this, but why don't we cut some liberal arts that don't get jobs afterwards? Can we talk, we have to talk a little bit about this. If you're looking at funds, what does a master's or a major in philosophy go out and do that they can, what are you learning there? Where if you're in a sport, especially something like wrestling, you're getting your major, but you're also learning a lot. about growth, about time management, about hard work, about how to take orders and coaching. Your sports build a better individual in the end, most of the time, if you have a good coach and a good program associated with it. Where some of these majors, there's no jobs out there for it. And you're going to a university like Stanford, who's close to like probably 50K a year to go and get an art degree. And this isn't offensive to anyone that loves art, that loves philosophy, but it's just the realistic nature that, to me, keeping these sports is more beneficial to the school, more cost effective than keeping these tenured teachers and students around and spending that type of money. So this just pisses me off in total. And the fact that Stanford just needs to do the right thing. They just need to do the right thing and put the wrestling program back.
All right. we're going to move on to the NBA and some happenings around there. So first off, we're going to mention some of the bigger injury problems that we've had. Yeah. LeBron James is going to be out for a while. I believe there's a high ankle sprain, if I remember correctly. Yes, he's going to be out for a minute. So the Lakers might take a bit of a hit in the standings. Both LeBron and Anthony Davis out. We'll see what happens. They should both be back, but it's not looking great for them. Other than that, another big one that takes a real big hit to the awards is LaMelo Ball being out for the rest of the season because of his wrist.
Yep.
That's huge because now there's going to be the argument of, does he deserve Rookie of the Year? Does Anthony Edwards deserve Rookie of the Year?
Who and even James Wiseman creeping up in there too. Yeah, very good rookies.
Who deserves this?
Yeah.
Or Tyrese Halliburton. There's tons.
Yeah, yeah.
But who's going to get it? Because LaMelo has been far and away, to me, the best Rookie of the Year, the way he's played on Charlotte. He's been absolutely disgusting. It's not like the other rookies haven't been good, but he's just been different.
Yeah.
But now with the injury, there's still time left in the season. I do not envy the awards givers this time around. I don't. Because either choice they make is probably going to be wrong to people. I mean, most of the time it still is, but at least they could have more of an argument.
Yeah.
This time, it's not going to be fun at all. Other than that, we're going to talk a little bit about the Nets. Blake Griffin dunked in his debut. It was only 2 points. Of course, he dunked in his debut.
First time in 2 years.
He's going to get drug tested at this point. But also, Kyrie Irving is going to miss some games for some family matters. I know people brought up that his birthday is today or tomorrow?
Today's birthday.
Today. But I don't. Whether or not it's for his birthday or whatever, I'm not going to lie to you. I really don't care. This team's humming. If he wants to take some time off, I do not care. Kevin Durant's been gone for a while. James Harden's been James Harden. The team's fine. It's not a big deal to me. Either way, we're in the playoffs as the 1 or 2 seed. I don't care.
So, touch on a few of those things. The Lakers, to me, and, our buddy Colton Gesser, Personal Foul Podcast and Play Action Podcast is kind of, flipping out because LeBron and AD are out. There's a good chance that they fall pretty well because that team outside of them is good, not great. They're, a bunch of role players that play their roles very well around two of the best players in the NBA, which is how you build a team right now. So there's a chance, but to me, the Lakers are very similar to the Spurs of old in that they just need to get in. Doesn't matter where they get in. They just need to get into the playoffs. If they get into the playoffs,
and they will.
Championship is within, and exactly, they're not slipping out of the playoffs. So I'm not really worried about the Lakers. I feel bad for the Lakers because they were another team. They're a team that hasn't been able to be at full strength, similar to the Brooklyn Nets. And, injuries are a part of the game, but the Lakers are fine. You talked about LaMelo.
I didn't mention Embiid's hyperextension. I believe it's a hyperextension. Embiid's out for a bit, but he's going to be back, and I'm happy about that because I don't want because that guy. Well, one, I want to beat the Sixers at full power, but two, that guy was playing an MVP season.
Conspiracy theory: everyone wants James Harden to get the MVP because of how he's playing, so everyone's just voluntarily getting injured to give him the MVP. Anyway, really? You talked about LaMelo and Melo going down. Melo's a guy that everyone, I think, half jokingly was like, he's gonna be the best. He's gonna be really good. It was like
I wasn't joking when I said that.
But it's not. It's fine. But I think people were cautiously optimistic about how good he could really be because he's a ball. His dad's a big mouth. Lonzo had a lot of expectations, and Lonzo hasn't lived up to him, even though he's a very good player.
Mm-hmm.
It is difficult to me, but if you look at what LaMelo has done and what he's meant to the Charlotte Hornets, there is no doubt in my mind that even with the injury, he's the rookie of the year. He has him sitting in sixth in the Eastern Conference at a 500 record. There isn't another rookie that has affected their team as much as he has. Edmonds hasn't. Edwards hasn't. Wiseman hasn't. They've been very good. The only guy maybe you could argue is Halliburton, because Halliburton is playing on a team that he is a starter there and is a very big factor, but not as good and not as big of a factor as Ball. So even with this injury, I would not be angry at all if they gave Rookie of the Year to LaMelo Ball, because we are seeing a guy who is, whether or not he ever reaches superstar potential, it's here to be seen, but he's already a star in the NBA and a deserving star.
Yep.
So I really think that him being Rookie of the Year would make me happy, actually, because he deserves it. Even though, like you said, the other guys, if you give it to him, no one's going to be angry about it. And also, he'd be our first real Rookie of the Year in a long time, not a redshirt Rookie of the Year. So I'd be happy with that as well. We talked about Blake. Blake is going to get drug tested. To be fair to him, he's played 18 games in like 2 years. So we haven't known what he could do, but Blake was definitely fat suiting it over in Detroit to try and not play and not care. And he came in, he dunked. He looked really good. He hesitated to take some shots, which we've seen Blake take before.
Yeah, it's
but he's getting his game. His IQ looked good. His passing looked good. His defense looked good. So he comes in and just absolutely blocks the crap out of Bradley Beal, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He just stuffed the crap out of him, which is nice to see. Kyrie's situation. The only reason it bugs me is because of what he says when he's playing. I'm all basketball. I'm in. I'm back. I'm here. This and that. And it's hard to doubt when he says family matters. I'm not going to be one of those people that knocks him, because listen, we all got family things.
Exactly.
DeMar DeRozan earlier this year left for a little while for family matters. That happens. Things happen. And we're in a weird time with COVID. You don't know his grandparent situation or parents or anything like that. So this is something I'm not going to knock Kyrie for. Is it shady as all hell that his birthday is today? And the last time he did this, he was caught at a 500-person party for his sister's birthday? Yes. And for anyone to acknowledge otherwise, you're fooling yourself that it's not shady. But is it because of his birthday? I hope not. I hope everything's okay. But I also hope he didn't just take a week off of a road trip for his birthday. That would piss me off. You have a job to do. Whether we're humming, whether we're not humming. No one takes a month and change off unless they're the CEO. And you're not the CEO of the team, Kyrie. You're a player, a great player. But overall, I hope everything's okay with his family. Even if he did take it off for his birthday. Like you said, whatever. It's just a little frustrating. Just come in and say, man, I'm going to leave whenever the hell I want, and there's nothing this team could do about it. And then I'll respect you. I will respect you. Like, I'm going to dip out whenever I want.
As long as we win that chip, baby.
And you know what? I don't know. It's probably to go to another like political thing. He was on a political Zoom call the other time. Like Kyrie's such a mystery man. When he's on the floor, there's few guys as talented as him in the NBA. But when he misses time, the reasons are mind-boggling. So
you know what? If he can keep playing the way he's playing with missing time, listen, Kawhi sat out many games for what was it called?
Tim Duncan sat out a game for being old one time.
Well, that's because Tim Duncan is old. But people have sat out games for reasons other than being injured, and they haven't been gone from the team. And they haven't been gone from the team. I get it. But if it gets us a chip, if it gets him directly back into the game, dropping 30 all the time, you know what? I'm not mad.
Yeah. So anyway, last few things before we go. Disrespect involving Kyrie. I saw on Twitter someone asked if Kyrie was better than Allen Iverson. Obviously, that person is in his early 20s or late teens. The answer is no. The answer is just there doesn't really need to be a reason. Just look things up. Look up the videos. I don't care if you want to look up the
Yeah.
videos and compare crossovers.
Yeah.
Kyrie is the current best dribbler. Allen Iverson is arguably the best dribbler ever. So let's pump our brakes on that comparison. Number one. And I want to end off with a feel-good story. Najee Harris, running back from Alabama, tried to get a flight from Dallas to Birmingham for the Alabama Pro Day.
Mm-hmm.
Flight got canceled, so the man got in his car and drove 9 hours. He's not even participating in the Pro Day.
Awesome guy.
Back up his teammates.
Awesome guy.
To me, that's first round material right there. You draft him. He was already first round material because he's a freaking fantastic running back.
Yep.
But outside of that, locker room guy, absolutely. You show character like that, you show those types of leadership ability, notches you up in my book. So good story. Dave, we're going to end off the show. You have anything to add?
No, because I have a feeling that maybe it'll bring the time down. I want to end on a high note.
No, it didn't bring the time down at all.
Or maybe no, not time. I mean like the feel good time.
Oh, you don't have any good stories? All right.
No.
Oh, that good story was just found like 10 minutes before coming on the show, so it
That's
wasn't
fine.
planned really. But anyway, so everyone, thank you for watching and listening. This has been CuestaDos. He's David. I'm Alex.
Man.
We're the Brothers Cuesta. Find CuestaDos on Twitter at CuestaDos. Really hard. And follow the Opinions Podcast Network on Twitter at The Real OPN, Instagram Opinions Podcast Network. And everyone appreciate it. We've been on a roll doing weekly shows. Hopefully we can and will do more. So everybody, thanks for watching. David, stop your yawning.
I'm sorry. That came out of nowhere.